Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show, our usual Monday night roundup here on the channel, looking back at the weekend's action. I'm Chris Bell, delighted to say, as ever, joined by Gareth Walker and Stephen Downs. And a little bit later on this evening, we'll be joined by Jason Booker as well to talk all things Leeds United. First things first, are we, gents? Are we well?
It's bad.
Yeah.
Tired.
Yeah, it's a bit more of a later start, so I'm sure we'll be on until about 11 p.m.
No, that is absolutely not happening. We are going to attempt to try and do a bit more of a whistle stop kind of show rather than the usual full marathons that we end up doing over an hour. People have got stuff to do tonight, so we'll crack straight on, I guess. A little bit of a word on Bradford City to start with, Gaz. And look, the chickens go marching on.
It feels like that at the moment. Yeah. We were, I think the two words I would use for Saturday's performance were professional and, shall we say, disciplined. It was just a case of getting the job done, really. Reading weren't any real great shakes, to be honest with you. I was a little bit disappointed in them. They started the game where it was obvious they'd come to sit back and spoil and waste time at every opportunity. But it was as though they didn't really want to do that because they sort of dropped out of doing that after about 20 minutes and started, I don't know, it didn't last forever, if you know what I mean. It was obviously that's what they wanted to do, but they weren't very good at it. And then it was a case of when will City score? And it took until the second half. But yeah, we kind of took over a bit in the second half and deservedly, I think 2-0 was a fair reflection of the game. And a few people have said that they didn't think City were great in the first half. I don't know about that. We were better in the second half, but I thought we were pretty solid all round, to be honest. We were back to one of our better performances. We pressed better. We created chances. We still look solid at the back, touch wood. And yeah, like you say, we just keep marching on at the moment. So long may it continue.
Yeah, I mean, look, on the face of it, I thought Reading might be one of the trickier tests that you might have had. Certainly in kind of in recent weeks, at least, and looking ahead as well. As you said, though, it kind of didn't turn out to be that way, and it was just a very routine job done.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the Reading team in the build-up to Saturday. Not the team, sorry, the squad in the build-up to Saturday. They've got some good players by League One standards when you look in their squad. You know, they should really be doing better than they are. I know there's a little bit of fan discontent and they're struggling when they were expected to do better. I'm not sure how long they've been in League One now. Is it 3 years, maybe?
Maybe a year or two more, even possibly.
Really, is it that long? I know it's not the first year there, but they still have some Championship standard players in that squad. I know Liam Richardson's gone in there and tried to make them tougher to beat, but like I said, they didn't really look like they bought into the whole anti-football thing. It was like some of them players wanted to play. But they just weren't up to it. I'm disappointed in them, really. They weren't up to much at all. I've seen a few City fans say that they're one of the worst sides that we've played this season. And I think it's hard not to agree with that, really. But like you say, similar to you, mate, I expected better from them. And it was a case, I think, of when a City going to score and our City going to score. And once we did and went 1-0 up, it was just a routine victory and got the second goal, and Reading didn't really offer a lot at all, to be honest. Like I said, City played well. It was probably one of our better performances for a while. We've had that sticky run where we didn't win for a few weeks. We drew quite a few games, but now we've suddenly gone on and won 3 in a row. We beat Exeter at home, Plymouth away, and Reading at home. So we're heading to Christmas in reasonably good fettle, touch wood. We got a Leyton Orient Saturday. And then we've got Wigan on Boxing Day at home, Port Vale at home on the 29th, and Mansfield away on New Year's Day, and then we will have played every team in the division. So, yeah, there are some sides that I say look really good and probably better than us, but we seem to have a habit of punching a little bit above our weight at the moment. And like I say, long may that continue. You just can't not enjoy what we're doing right now.
How important the form of late, and again on Saturday, of Anthony Sarcevic. It feels like whenever I look at the Bradford scores of late, so whenever I'm checking the score updates, he's the man that's found the back of the net.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, really. Someone put a stat out. There's a lad called Nathan on Twitter who does Bradford City stats. And I can't remember the exact stat, but it was something like when Anthony Sarcevic plays, City wins 50-odd% of the games. And when he doesn't, they win 20-odd% of the games. He's become a little bit of a talisman over his year or so. Well, he's in his second year with us now. I'll be honest with you, when you watch him play, he sometimes looks like he's blowing out of his arse. He looks like he's really struggling fitness-wise. But it's something about him being on the pitch. It improves. It improves other players. He knows when to press. He knows Alexander's tactics inside out. Having played for him before. And it's interesting. I think he's joint top scorer now. I think him and Bobby Poynton both have 7, which is useful because we haven't got a striker who's banging him in like Andy Cook has in the past. Cookie's sort of lost his place in the team. Well, he hasn't. He obviously had that really bad injury. I should say he's not his place back in the team yet. Humphries is the man leading the line at the moment. And there's a couple of things you could criticise Humphries for. He's obviously a very talented footballer. I think he plays with his head down and he's greedy sometimes. There's an argument that he's better off the left. He doesn't look like your archetypal number 9. And he definitely should score more goals, but the talent is there, and it's good that we kind of had this fluctuation up front where Sarcevic, Humphries, and Poynton are all quite fluid when they're on the game and when they're all starting and fit and available to play. And those two are chipping in with 7 goals each, which is really, really positive.
As you say, looking ahead then to Saturday and a trip to the capital to East London to take on a Leyton Orient side that, if I just quickly bring up the league table, as you can see, they just make it on the cut, sitting mid-table in 13th.
Yeah, I've not really seen a lot of what they've done this season. Obviously, I know they made the playoffs last season. I think they had quite an overhaul in the squad over the summer, so lost a lot of players and had to bring a lot of new players in. It seems to have taken them a while to get going. As you can see there, they've actually lost more games than they've won this season, but I believe that they're a lot better at home than they are away. And it'll be a tough test going there. Leyton Orient's always a tough place to go, especially sort of just before Christmas. I've been once before, went about 10 years ago, and City won 1-0 that day. So I'm looking forward to going again, and hopefully it'll be a repeat performance, a repeat result.
Yeah, as you say, I mean, there seems to be a side that are, as you say, had a slow start, a big change in the summer, but I think improving gradually. And like, if last season or anything to go by, if they have a strong second half of the season, they could be among that chasing pack looking for the playoff places, possibly. Obviously, if you just say you've been before, it's not an easy journey to get to, is it? Brisbane Road. It's not one of the easier London clubs to turn up at.
No, I mean, obviously from here, it's a direct train to London, and then I think it's like one change on the tube. It's actually I'm told it's the closest ground to the centre of London, Brisbane Road, which is quite interesting. They obviously could have had the move to what became West Ham Stadium. They're actually closer to that than any other team, aren't they? And West Ham got it. But I'm just looking at what they did on Saturday, actually. I wanted to confirm before I said it. I was aware they lost 3-2 at Barnsley, having been 1-0 down and got it back to being 2-1 up. So they will score goals. Obviously, Don Ballard up front's a threat for them. But yeah, it's a nice place. It's actually a nice ground to go to. It's quite an old style ground, if I remember rightly.
I like it.
Yeah, from when I went before, if I remember rightly, it's wooden seats in the away end. You're actually down the side of the pitch. They have a supporters bar under the stand that away fans are welcomed into. So we'll be trying that before or after the game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. It's like I said, I do one London trip a year, and we've chosen that this year. And hopefully we get the right result like we did last time. It was actually Aaron McLean scored for us last time I went, and he didn't score many for us. He scored only a few. So hopefully, like I said, repeat performance, repeat victory. But I do understand it'll be a tough place to go. Like you say, they are improving, and obviously Richie Wellens quite an experienced sought-after manager at this level, so it's going to be a tough ask. Hopefully, we can get the 3 points, or at least not lose and take a draw and maintain our push at the top end of the league.
I always want to know with Leyton Orient and with Brisbane Road in particular, just how much those flats cost. Because if you remember with Brisbane Road, I think at least on 2 or 3 of the corners have got blocks of flats built into them with balconies that overlook the pitch. And I'm like, if you're a football fan and you live there, that's the dream, isn't it? To literally have a flat inside the ground where you can just come out onto your balcony on Saturday and just watch your team. It must be great.
There were some fans doing it, weren't there? The Brentford Leeds game yesterday, there was some pictures doing the downs on Twitter of the fans that were able to see into the ground from wherever they were. I think there were some Leeds fans. I don't know how Leeds fans have got into these apartments, but yeah. So it does happen at some away gate at some grounds. I know some cricket grounds it happens at as well. Yeah, like you say, mate, it's actually a nice place. It's a nice ground to go to. It's a good trip, and hopefully we take the 3 points like we've done before. It's just about, like I said, Christmas is a tricky time, isn't it? You play a lot of games, and this is like the first one of 4 or 5 in the space of 2 weeks. So it's about not losing too many and managing to pick up as many points as you can.
Quick, just another quick glance at so you can strain in on next to the top end of the League One table before we move on to Huddersfield. And look, you're still sat there second at the moment, Gaz, and I'll be honest, frustratingly as a Lincoln fan, just drop points for us on Saturday came out to be a welcome bonus for you guys.
Yeah, I was looking at the scores when we were 0-0, and like I said, we were the better side, and we looked like the team that were or the only team that really wanted to win the game. And we hadn't scored. Like I say, it was 0-0 at half time. I was going through the other scores, and I saw that Lincoln were 2-0 up, and then obviously at the end saw that they got it back to 2-2. But Bolton won at the weekend. Like I said, Barnsley beat Orient. Wimbledon only drew. Cardiff got a last-minute winner, didn't they, at home to Doncaster to maintain that little cushion that they've got at the top. So they're looking like the team, if any, that are going to pull away at the moment. Stevenage have that game in hand on us, who can go level on points. But it's just tight after Cardiff. Really, it is tight all the way down to sort of almost mid-table. Really, 11th and above. Yeah, they're all going to be.
Yeah, it's a big game at the weekend with Lincoln host Cardiff on Saturday. So, that's quite a big game. Hoping we can try and close some gaps with a good result there. Let's turn our attentions then away from Bradford City and move on to Huddersfield Town. And Downsy, you're going to have to unmute yourself, otherwise this is the most peaceful Huddersfield chat we've ever had, to be honest. At the weekend, a point for the Terriers against Wigan Athletic. Again, a side which I'm going to glance on that are very much like yourselves at the moment in being a side looking at those playoff places from just outside them.
Yeah, 1-1 draw. I mean, Gaz described the Bradford City game as, I think he said, professional and disciplined. Well, the Huddersfield Town performance was dull, boring, uninspiring, and unimaginative. And I don't think up until this point, the club still hasn't tweeted anything or put any sort of social media presence out after the game, barring a Town Foundation repost out, which tells you everything you need to know about what's going on at Huddersfield Town right now. We pray and hope for the corner flag image as Town fans. And I think, it's going to come if we lose the game at the weekend against Rotherham. Just to touch on the Wigan game, I wasn't there, but I have heard reports, and we did do a town talk last night. So if anybody wants sort of like a look at a deeper chat about the performance, please go watch that one. But first half was okay. Just nothing special. Murray Wallace could have got sent off in the first 10 seconds for a karate kick on the Wigan player. He was given a reprisal because it was only 10 seconds into the game. Wallace actually then scored to put us in front, which was a good header. Tickle, the Wigan keeper. I always love his name. What a name for a goalkeeper, by the way, Tickle. But yeah, he probably should have done maybe a little bit better, but didn't matter. Town fans were delighted that Murray had scored. And then, it gets to the point where we come out in the second half and we're just abysmal. And there's no energy in the stadium. There's no energy on the pitch. Marcus Harness is waving his arms to the cowshed going, come on, get behind us. Well, that's all right, Harness, but you've got to give us something to get behind. And it kind of became a bit embarrassing in the end, because obviously Wigan got the goal back, and then Grant takes May and Castledine off to booze around the stadium and chants of you don't know what you're doing, and that you'll be sacked in the morning, and then again booze at full time. Joe Taylor wasn't even in the squad. No idea why. It's not being asked why. Nobody said why. All I can imagine is that there's been a bit of a falling out. And yeah, although we're ninth and we're only 4 points behind the playoff places, it's falling to bits again.
Well, move on from there, shall we? I mean, you've kind of summed it up nicely, I guess, as the way things are. I mean, all right, the question asking, obviously, I appreciate that you couldn't make it on Saturday. Were the calls for Grant and the boos and that sort of thing calls for Grant to go, strongest that they've been this season so far, from what you've been told, and those that you know were there?
Yeah, I've seen a video online of the moments that I've just described, and they're the strongest I've seen this season. We didn't even see this under Duff. We didn't even see it under the Scottish scaffolder that had us in the Championship. Didn't see it under him, and he was the worst town manager I've seen in my entire life. So yeah, things are pretty bleak, and I think he's only got one game really to save his job. Came out after the game and again used the FA textbook. Lots of excuses, basically saying it's been tough over the last 3 years at the football club. Well, we know that, Lee. We've sat through it. We expected you to try and change it or have a positive impact on the club. And it's come to this point now, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's flipping and flopping formations, styles of play, trying to get people to play in different positions, and just nothing's working. And as you can see there, we've got Rotherham away on Saturday. Boxing Day is at home to Port Vale, and then 29th is at home to Northampton. And on the 1st of Jan, we play, of course, the Minnows that we beat in the Cup in Lincoln City.
Mate,
and I'll be honest, if Grant's in charge anywhere past this Rotherham game, out of 4 games, which is a possible 12 points, I think we'll only get 2.
I mean, ultimately, you've got to look at the Port Vale game on Boxing Day. Port Vale, bottom of the league, ex-manager, though, of course, in the dugout there. Surely Port Vale at home is going to be a must-win game, in a game that even Lee Grant can't find a way to lose it.
He can, as in a Mick McCarthy style, he can. No, it's just, yeah. Honestly, I don't see, out of 4 games, lads, over Christmas and New Year, I think if Grant's in charge, we'll only get 2 points. That's how bad it is. There's just no positivity. Like the players, I described them yesterday as vanilla. Like you walk into a shop and you've bought all these
vanilla.
You've bought no, hang on. But you've bought all these lovely ice creams and ice lollies, right? That pop and do all the rest of it, hundreds of thousands on, and you think, yeah, you've paid a bit of money for it, but you've got a quality ice cream. And then actually what's turned out is you're just getting a bowl of vanilla. And it's not even good vanilla ice cream. It's vanilla ice cream from Pizza Hut as a dessert. It doesn't taste of anything.
Other ice creams are available from other places.
Yeah.
Just fair. I mean, look,
Yeah.
I mean, of all the things that Ben's comments on, he says bold statement, vanilla is top 3. To be fair, as I said, there's nothing wrong with vanilla. I think the ice cream that you're being served up is dog shit flavor, to be honest, rather than vanilla. Vanilla's good compared to what you're getting.
I was being polite. Yes, it is dog shit ice cream, but I was being polite. The guy needs to be sacked. The guy, honestly, he needs to go. I've tried to back him on the podcast, on social media, in the stands when I'm at games. I've tried to give him benefit of doubt. He's over the last 2 games, he's lost me. I said we needed 6 points. We got 2 against a crap Northampton team. Like they're not very good. They weren't as good as they were better last season, and they only just survived last season. The worst this year, and the Wigan team.
I mean, you say that
it's not that Wigan team's not brilliant. It's not got a lot about it.
I was just thinking more the Northampton side. Like the Northampton side now are higher in the table than they were at any point last season.
Yeah, they are, but they are. But that there's two things with that. The standard of division possibly last year was slightly higher. I think the standard this year is not as good. Secondly, I just don't think that Northampton team are as good. I mean, they battered us last year. They absolutely mullered us, and they deserved to win last year, fair and square over both games. But the game on Tuesday was absolutely atrocious from both teams. It was horrific.
Gaz, anything you want to come in on as Man City second in League One?
Yeah. Do you honestly think they'll get rid of him over Christmas, though, Downsy? I don't see it. I think games are just so thick and fast over Christmas. I think you either go into the Christmas period and stay with your manager, and you sort it out after, or you do it before. And the fact that they've not done it yet, I think he's probably going to get over Christmas, mate. I mean, like you said, that I think Chris alluded to it, and you did as well, mate. I think the one that you're looking at is that Port Vale game, because if you were to lose that or not get a good result in that at home against Darren Moore, your former manager, then it does increase the pressure tenfold, doesn't it? But other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still here, mate. But that's only me looking in. You know a lot more than me. You're the guy in there. I'm looking at it from the outside.
Knowing my sodding luck, you'll sack him on New Year's Eve.
Before the
Billy Lincoln game.
I wouldn't even give him the Rotherham game, lads.
Would you not?
I would not give it. I would not give him the Rotherham game. I know you
wouldn't, but we're talking obviously from Nagel and the board and the ownership level that seemingly the ones that have to back him because he's their pick.
Yeah, but I genuinely think if we lose to Rotherham, he's gone. I don't see how he survives I mean, I can't believe he's going to survive this week, but God, how's he going to survive if we lose against Rotherham? I'm not saying Rotherham are a bad side either, but it's and it is a Yorkshire derby, but he's lost the fan base. The fan base are gone now. Like a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Gaz, maybe a month or two back. Gaz said to me, "What's sort of like the percentage of the fan base do you think are still with him?" And I said probably about 75% are still willing to give him a chance. It's completely the opposite way around now.
Well, that's interesting, because I was going to ask you that. That was going to be my next question. So it's interesting you've said that.
Yeah, 80 to 85% now are against him. Like they just want him out. I haven't spoke to in the last 3 days any town fan, and I speak to a lot of town fans that want to keep him in charge, that can think of a single positive to keep him in charge. And to be fair to Chris has called this for quite a number of weeks. To be fair, you have, mate, about getting rid of him. But I just get Tony Mowbray, get on the phone, put.
I've changed.
Put work. No, you haven't. Shut up.
Oh, I have. Keep him. New contract.
Until after New Year's Day.
At least, at the very least, keep him to New Year. Although I say that, I said to you weirdly only like a week or so ago when you turned up in the cup game, which to be fair was two very rotated sides. I said to you on the back of that, you actually turned in a pretty decent level of performance overall, I thought, and it looked really solid. And obviously, the couple of games haven't been as great.
But we should put Worthy in charge for a game, 2 games.
Even if we like not another one.
Yeah, but honestly, they should get on the phone to Tony Mowbray. I mean, blooming Kane was on about Carrick yesterday. He don't know what Cuckoo Land Kane was talking in. We aren't getting Michael Carrick, but
I'm about to say he's optimistic. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's optimistic at the absolute zenith of optimism. But Tony Mowbray, get on the phone to him. Just say, look, Tony, come in, steady the ship, try and get us somewhere into the playoffs. Do whatever you can to get this team up. And I think Tony would be a really good shout. I actually think Nigel Pearson would be a decent shout because what the players need is a right kick up the arse. So it's been another lovely week to be a Huddersfield Town fan.
The thing is, down people saying back. Sorry, Gaz.
Sorry, mate. The thing is, it's like any managerial change, and we've talked about this at City before, and City have fallen foul to this. I think when you change manager, or when you're looking at changing manager, a lot of clubs, what needs to happen, the club has to have a plan, and a lot of clubs change manager and they don't have a plan, and that causes all sorts of problems. So the fact that you've gone from, well, you obviously had Duff, and then this is Nagel's pick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Grant, do you see the plan changing and going to a no, I don't know what the word is, but an experienced, hard,
That's the thing, isn't it?
disciplinarian? Do you see him going down that route to
No, I don't.
the type of person that you think you need? Do you see that
This
happening?
is the thing. Like, and I said this to you weeks ago, to be fair. Like, you've ended up giving the wrong man the money for a start. If you'd have stuck with Duff, and we said that to be fair, we said at the time of Duff's departure that he was the one that had, decent experience in League One. The football might not have been sexy, but it doesn't have to be. You're playing League One. Let him, get his own players in and get a full season under his belt, get more of his own players in, build this season. It might work. And you ended up bringing in, as we've talked about, the novice with the coaching manual and giving him all the money. And it obviously hasn't got you this far. I mean, it's a fair point that Gaz makes, is that he's gone down this kind of young, dynamic coach approach. Is it likely to go, is even if he gets rid of Grant, is he likely to go down, as Gaz says, the experienced route? Or, I mean, you have gone down that route in the past, I guess. Like, Brighton Writer was an experienced disciplinarian.
Yeah, but it wasn't Nagel's pick. It wasn't Nagel's pick. You have to look at where Brian Wright's name came from. It wasn't from Kevin Nagel. So Grant, I would say, is the de facto definition of Kevin Nagel's pick. Like that's just fact. I think you look at the other managers we've had, and you can say that, well, other people picked him. I mean, I just want to state, by the way, I was so adamant about not sacking Duff. Was I on here every week saying we shouldn't sack him?
Yeah,
you were, mate.
I'm pretty sure I was.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I was adamant about that. And if we'd still had Michael Duff at this time now, we wouldn't be in this position. We just wouldn't.
I 100%
because I think he would have sorted it out.
I agree with you, mate. And it's like Chris alluded to there, because then you give Duff, someone who's done it at League One level before, you give him the funds with an almost, not a blank canvas, but more of a blank canvas of a squad to go and get the players that he needs. We all said it, and you did say it, mate. You certainly did. Yeah.
I just think that when you're saying about, do you think he'll go down the path of a disciplinarian? I don't think he ain't got a choice. You can't bring another rookie in. I mean, all right, he could go for somebody like who's the lad that got sacked from Norwich? Was that Liam?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
The Danish lad.
No,
Liam Manning.
No, Liam Manning.
Yeah, Liam
Manning. We have been linked with him before, and I just think
terrible.
No, it won't. But he's jumping out of Norwich, where he's not done well. So he's probably not got a very positive mindset at the moment, and he's going to jump into an absolute burning fire down. I don't think that's the sort of character we need. I genuinely think we need a Tony Mowbray or Nigel Pearson that goes, do you know what? I'm walking in. I've done the business in the past. You're all going to listen to me because I know what I'm doing. But the problem is. No, but the problem is that's not what I don't think that's what Kevin's style is. I don't think he wants to deal with the disciplinarian. I don't think he wants that type of manager. I think he wants a young progressive manager that won't come to him in January and go and ask too many questions. Now, the one thing that you can say about Nagel is definitely he's put the money forward. You can't say that he hasn't, and we've built the squad that we have, but there isn't any plan behind the money, and that's the problem. Exactly what Gaz said. And all this notion, I hear it every week, right? Radio Leeds, people ring Radio Leeds up and go, get on the phone to Neil Warnock. Get it out your heads. Neil Warnock is never coming back to manage Huddersfield Town Football Club, and neither is David Wagner. It's not happening. No, right. I mean, David Wagner, to be fair, Wagner's more realistic than Neil Warnock, to be honest. He's about 50 years younger, so it might happen at some point. But it's not going to happen when we're middling in League One. It's not.
You've also got you've got your director of football in there now, Downsy, that you didn't have before, haven't you? Do you think that's going to make a difference, both in terms of if there was to be a change, would that change the plan, and also in terms of recruitment? Because if you do change manager, that whoever comes in is going to want to bring their own players in January. So how much of a say on both the plan and recruitment is the new director of football going to have? Because you didn't have that before, did you, mate?
No, I think well, that's been the problem, I think, Gaz. Like, in the summer, there wasn't any direction from any director of football. It was just all left to Lee Grant to sign players. And like Chris says rightly, Grant was given a big bag of money and said, go out and spend it. So he did. I think Chris Markham is a good signing for us in terms of director of football. He knows the division. He knows English football. He's got great contacts and he's well respected in the game. That's quite clear to see from the people that you can read about him and what they've said about him. The thing that worries me, Gaz, is he's only been appointed at the start of December. It's a lot of bloody work in it to have in a month to get ready for January. I think it'd be very harsh for fans to go to sort of mark him for what he might do in January. I think he'll have more of a play in the summer, to be honest. I think January just will have to be whatever it will be. I don't even think we'll spend a lot of money in January if I'm being totally honest, because deals are so hard to do. So yeah, it's good that we've got a director of football. Takes the pressure off any manager that does come in, and it also means that probably Kevin and people above the director of football don't necessarily have to get into football type conversations. But I don't know how much sort of credence they're going to have in January, and that's definitely a worry. But if Kevin can get the corner flag image out already, at least revving up on Saturday once we've lost to Rotherham 3-0, that'd be fantastic.
January the 2nd, Kev. That's the day to do it. January the 2nd.
No. The day to do it is the 20th of December. That's the day to do it, Kev. There you go. 21st, actually. I'll give you. You'd have to sack him on the day. You can give him Saturday night to relax, and then sack him on Sunday morning if you want.
Deary me. Let's turn our attention. Very sadly, Jay isn't going to make it on to be with us, which is shame. He and Brownie though did a big Leeds review last night after the 1-1 draw at Brentford. So we'll just quickly touch on the Premier League and on Leeds. And look, some decent results against Chelsea and Liverpool that they might have expected or wanted more away at Brentford. But the way Brentford's home form has been this season, on the face of it, Gaz, I'll start with you. That seems to me, at least, like a decent point on the road. Although the performance was probably better than a point deserved, actually.
Yeah, I don't always get to watch the Sunday games, but I did get to watch the game yesterday. I thought they were the better side, to be honest. I thought they were better than Brentford, and that can only be a good thing, obviously, for Leeds. I thought that they're obviously playing with this new formation now. It's another game unbeaten in that formation. Brentford's a tough place to go. Brentford have surprised people this season. We all thought that they really struggled, didn't we? Obviously, lost the manager, lost Mbuemo, lost Visser, but they're actually doing all right and probably better than everybody imagined. And I think to go there and take a point on a Sunday evening in December, especially when you've been 1-0 down, is not to be sniffed at. And like I say, it's another game unbeaten. So fair play to him. Yeah,
I mean, Downs it as you're glancing at the table, and with West Ham dropping points. In fact, they lost obviously against Aston Villa, and Burnley had lost on Saturday night as well, one of the late kickoffs. I know Forest won 3-0 against Spurs, but all in all, not a terrible weekend results-wise for Leeds for them to even just take a point.
No. I mean, it's kind of calmed down slightly, I think, hasn't it? After the three recent results, I think didn't Villa beat West Ham 3-2, but West Ham were winning in that game. So I mean, it could have been slightly more different if West Ham could, hold on to a lead. I mean, more chance of them holding on to a leaf at the moment rather than a lead. But yeah, Forest, I never thought as soon as Dyche was appointed at Forest, I never thought Forest would be in trouble. Unfortunately, I wish they'd finished bottom, but it's not going to happen. Bournemouth, for the surprise, I think they've slipped, haven't they? You know, I mean,
Well, as it stands, they've just scored to go 3-2 up against Man United.
I mean, that's brilliant in itself, and I'm sure Gaz will be happy with that news. But Bournemouth have slipped, slightly, and it's very congested down there. Let's be honest.
It
I mean,
is, isn't it?
There's three teams on 20. There's 2 teams on 22, and I wouldn't even say Brighton have been amazing this season on 23. The absolute miracle of Danny Welbeck has kept them above water. All Leeds need to do, and me and Gaz have said this many times to Jay and Brownie, I think, Leeds just need to concentrate on themselves. They don't need to worry about anybody else. They were all concerned about Sunderland, and obviously they're just doing amazing at the moment. But they don't need to worry about other results about them. They just need to do what they can do. And to be honest, like I would have said at the start of the season, a 1-1 draw with Brentford would have been a terrible result for Leeds. Thinking where Brentford were going to be, but it's not actually that bad of a result, is it? Like you say, all you have to do is draw your away games and win your home games at Ellen Road, and that's where that's where they're gonna stay up a Leeds by winning at the big yellow skip.
Yeah, the home form is certainly going to be the most important thing, I think, for Leeds. Over the remainder of the season. Let's very quickly then just finish by touching on the non-league scene across our region. There was a big win for Halifax. They won 4-0 against FC United Manchester in the FA Trophy, so they're into the next round of that competition. Guiseley were beaten in the Northern Premier League 2-0 on the road away at Prescott Cables. In the MPL East, a few scores from the weekend involving sides from our region. Ossett United, they were beaten away at Ashington by 3-2. Emily beat Blythe Town by 1-0. Brighouse Town were beaten 3-2 at home by Grimsby Borough. Brad Park Avenue got an equalising goal despite a late Connor Brown red card in a 1-1 draw away at Lincoln United. Garforth won on the road up in the northeast away at Newton Aycliffe by 3-1. Silverstone got a good point against playoff chasing North Ferriby with a 2-2 draw there. And Matlock Town, they one of the biggest, more fancied sides in the league. They were held by Pontefract Collieries 1 apiece at Pontefract on Saturday. That rounds up the non-league stuff for this week. Quick word as well on Charlie Manby, the Huddersfield 20-year-old Huddersfield darts player who won his first round game at the weekend against I can't remember his first name, Cameron Menzies, in the WP. Yeah. What is it? The World Darts Championship.
PDC.
That's it.
Bloody hell, Chris.
Yeah.
Come on, Christopher.
There's that many. I just couldn't get my letters out. That was all. I was like, which set of initials is it again? But yes, the World Darts Championship. Charlie Manby from Huddersfield is only 20, which makes him a veteran still compared to Luke Littler.
At least
a good first round win.
At least somebody's winning from Huddersfield. Somebody's representing the town with some sort of like compassion and greatness. So well done to him.
Look, there's got to be something from Huddersfield to shout about and be pleased with, because it certainly isn't the football team at the moment, Downsy. So
no, it's not the football team, and the rugby team are off season, so we ain't got much going for us right now.
Let's wrap things up there. A big thank you from Gaz and to Stephen Downs. Cheers for joining me, gents.
Good to see you guys.
Cheers, mate. I feel like you've forgotten how to speak, Chris, in the last 2 minutes, but
it happens. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in and joined us tonight. Big thank you to Ben as well for his numerous comments, as he usually does. I'm sure he'll be back on Brownie and Jay streams in due course, giving them a load of banter, to say the least, in due course. Anyway, check us out on social media. We'll be on later in the week. There'll be more Leeds content from Jay and Brownie. I think on Friday, we're looking to do a weekend preview show with myself and Stephen Brown. And then down to you, will be back after the Rotherham game on Sunday.
Yeah, with a corner flag image.
Why? Which one of you are you sacking?
You are.
Which one of you are you sacking if you're getting the corner flag image?
No, well, probably Kane if he says about getting Michael Carrick in again.
So do check out social media for that, and you can see what we've got coming up in the coming days. But for now, we'll say good evening. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night, whatever you've been up to, and we'll see you soon. Take care.